Welcome to learn about astronomy, and this is a little bit of astronomy news or what you could see in the sky for this week. We are November 25th, 2013, and we'll have this feature every Monday posted. So what's up in the sky, the evening sky? Well, if you're not an early riser, what you have is basically planet Venus that is really close to the Sun, getting closer and closer as time goes by. Planet Venus is actually ending a somewhat interesting pass, but not the best it's done. It's actually been here all summer, and it's not really the best pass that I've seen for such a really bright planet. So as the sun goes down tonight, first things that you'll see is planet Venus in the southwest of the sky. It sets at 7:04 p.m., which is about 2 hours and a half after the sunset. So you have a couple of hours for watching Venus, but it's getting slowly closer to the sun as the month ends, and also in December. December will be pretty much the last month where you can also view Venus. It will go and join the morning planets and will be visible before sunrise a little in the spring. High in the sky is also Neptune and Uranus, which are kind of harder to see. If you're in a really dark site, you should see Uranus actually apparently with your own unaided eyes. So if you got good vision in a very dark sky, you can try spotting it, but the best good pair of binoculars or a small telescope will bring you the little greenish tint of Uranus. And while you're there, try and spot Neptune, which is a little more difficult. It shines at magnitude 9, plus 9, which is out of the range of probably binoculars. You'll need a small telescope. Uranus should be visible. Actually, I never tried it, but with binoculars in a big city like Montreal, I've noticed that we see stars up to about plus 6.5 magnitude through binoculars, which means that I should actually be able to see Uranus in my binoculars, even in a big city. So if you're a big city dweller, this could be interesting. So as for Uranus, well, it's setting at 2:24 a.m. So by early evening, you'll see it in the southeast, and gradually, as the night goes through, around 8-9 p.m., you should see it south or a little southwest, and so as time goes by. The big planet that we can easily see for the evening sky at this week, and probably one of the easiest, you will see Venus in the southwest if you have a sky, if you can see low enough in the southwest sky, and it should be easy to see. Venus is very bright, but Jupiter is probably the king of the planets for this week, and Jupiter is very bright. It rises around 7:20 or 7:19 p.m. and is shining all night, so you should actually see it rise to the east, and as time goes by, you'll see it go through the sky, rising, getting really high in the south at around 2 in the morning. And Jupiter will improve as time goes by. It's going to be one of the great planets for Christmas. Jupiter, we are slowly getting closer to Jupiter. It's going to get even a little brighter, a little bigger. So Jupiter is an easy target. If you have a small telescope or binoculars, I would suggest that you actually go and point it at Jupiter. It's going to be interesting. A small telescope will bring you even 4 of its moons that you can watch every night, changing positions It's quite interesting. A small telescope can also bring you some of the equatorial belts that you should see, although that's a little harder to see. So Jupiter is really, really the great planet. Later on, as the night progresses in the early morning around 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m., we have planet Mars that will be rising with the moon quite close actually. So if you're up at 1:30 in the morning, Mars and the moon will be close. You should see the moon, which is slowly getting into its new moon as of next week. And so Mars, an easy target. Mars is a middle of the night or before sunrise planet for this week. As for the other planets, Mercury and Saturn, they are kind of hard to see. If you actually rise up about an hour before sunset, you might see them in the east-southeast rising, but you need a very low horizon, so you need to have nothing that will obstruct the view of your east or southeast horizon. And of course, as the week passes by, it's pretty much the same, except the moon getting lower and lower because it's slowly approaching its new moon phase that will happen somewhere in later this week or early next week. So this is pretty much what we'll see throughout the week. Jupiter is the highlight of our evening sky, and look for a feature actually on Jupiter this week. I'll be posting something on Jupiter talking about the planet and what you can see through telescopes and binoculars. It's a very interesting planet, and it's such a great evening star for this week. So if you're looking at the south or southeast and you see a bright star at 10, 11 a.m., 11 p.m., sorry, you will of course be looking at Jupiter, which is the brightest star in that part of the sky for this week. So you see here the moon getting closer and closer to the sun as we progress through our week. Now November 30th, and pretty much all of the planets are going to be at the same positioning. And as we get into December, we see that the moon will be getting into its new moon phase somewhere December 1st or 2nd. The big news, of course, we're still talking about the big news, which is Comet Ison. What about Comet Ison this week? Well, don't think about it. It's going to be almost impossible to see. It is getting too close to the sun. It is actually getting to a encounter with the sun on November 28th. So we're just a few days away from that positioning. And here's the position of Comet Ison. And slowly you see here the positioning and the dates where it's going to be positioned depending. So if we look here, we see that on the 25th today. We're actually seeing it there on the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. You can see that on the 28th is the encounter, 28, 29, really the encounter with the sun. It's going to be 1,000,000 kilometers from the sun's surface. What that means is that Comet Ison is going to be really stressed out. First of all, it's inside a region of the sun where a lot of objects cannot survive due to the very strong gravitational forces of the sun. Second, its core temperature is measured to go at about 5,000 degrees. That's really hot for something that's made mostly of icy matter, water, ice. So both of those stresses together, the 5,000 degree core, the gravitational stress on the comet itself, is likely to really rip it apart. Now, there's really no one that can tell you if, yeah, it's going to survive or not. Nobody is actually going to say it, except one Italian astronomer that kind of said, well, I don't think it's going to survive. We don't really know, but if it does survive, it can really become one hell of a comet in December. And if it does survive, and I hope it does, this is going to be very interesting. It could be a great comet for December. We might have a Christmas gift for astronomy, which is one of the greatest comets in a long time. But nothing's sure, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen. So we're waiting anxiously for our encounter on November 28th. That's only 3 days away. So think about it. On Thursday, the comet is going to be close to the sun. We will have links and a video and more videos, of course, of Comet ISON this week, since it's a really a major object. And as we have the latest news, we'll try to post videos here. So subscribe to our channel, and you'll of course have all that information as it gets interesting and it gets by. So Comet ISON, if you're thinking of going out and trying to watch Comet ISON, I don't think you will see Comet ISON this week. There's very little in the way of Comet ISON for this week. What else can we watch? Well, of course, one of the great constellations, Ursa Major, the Great Bear, is quite high in the sky. So this might be something to check for. And if we actually go into our evening here around 9 or 10 p.m. And go back into the Great Bear here, you'll see that it is actually at 23 degrees. That's basically a little east of north, and the constellation itself is quite low, but it's so easy to see, and it's actually nice when it's close to the horizon like this. For one major reason is that it actually is looks bigger, much bigger than when it's very high in the sky. So look northeast, and you should actually see the Big Dipper, or what's called the Big Bear, which it's Ursa Major. It's one of the great constellations in our sky. And as the evening progresses, it gets higher and higher. So if you look at midnight, for example, you'll see it now more into the 30-35 degrees. So it's going to get higher and higher as we go into the late night. One little fact that maybe you don't know is that the Big Dipper is one of those constellations that if you are above about 40 degrees latitude north, it's one of the constellations that never sets. So if you look at it, you should see it any time of the year at different positions. Now it is a time where it's quite low in the northeast, but it's a great constellation. One of the interesting features of the Big Bear, if you want to check your eyes if they're good enough, well, Ursa Major, or the Big Bear, if you look at the tail, or the little star in the middle of its tail, you will actually have a visual of a double star. And if you have good vision, you should see it with your own eyes without any unaided eyes. If you can't see it, well, a small pair of binoculars, and you don't really need to have very big binoculars, will actually show you the double star of the Big Bear, which is an interesting feature. So these are little tips that I'll be giving every week on constellations and stars and what you can see. So even if you're in a big city, I want to say that this podcast is made for big city dwellers, first of all. So even if you're in New York or Chicago or Los Angeles, we will try to have what's easy to see for big cities, and of course we'll put in our little details about what's happening with the different planets and go into little constellation stuff. As for the Big Dipper, the double star can be seen from pretty much any big city. With a little pair of binoculars, you'll see the double star, and it's always nice to see. And one last tip: if you watch the Big Dipper, if you look at the opposite of the tail, the two stars at the end of the Dipper actually point to the North Star, the polar star. So if we take the two stars, let's go here, take the two stars at the end of the Big Dipper, and about 5 distances away, we will encounter something that's the Big Dipper. If you look at the line, it's a little curved, it's not precise, but if you draw a line, you can see that you're now at the tail of the Little Dipper, or Ursa Minor, which is the small bear, the Little Dipper. The Little Dipper is very difficult to see. Here in Montreal, we don't see the Little Dipper, except for its Polaris, the North Star, and the little tip of the Dipper there, that there's another easy to see star. And contrary to what everybody thinks, nope, the North Star is not the most brilliant, it's not the most luminous star in the sky. It's just an average star, actually. It's just that it is in the same axis as the poles of the Earth, so it always stays pretty much put in the same position of the sky. And but this changes with time. And so hopefully you enjoyed our podcast for this week, and take a look at our channel regularly and subscribe, because you'll have lots of news this week. We'll have a special on Jupiter, which is the planet to see at this time of the year in the sky. Now for today, for these periods right now. But as we progress through December and Jupiter becomes more and more of a great sight for observation, I really hope that you'll be enjoying our series of videos, one on Jupiter, and talking about Jupiter itself, and also what we can see if we look through binoculars or telescopes. If you enjoy our podcast, subscribe to our channel, give us thumbs up, share it everywhere. This is a new podcast I'm trying out. I'm a big fan of astronomy and would like to share my passion and my knowledge with other viewers out there, but in the easiest way possible. So we'll have videos to show you how to go through the sky, how to learn where's north and south and east and west, and what numbers mean. Like if I want you to look at 40 degrees, how to find out what's 40 degrees. Lots of cool little tricks that you might find interesting. And so thanks for watching. If you have comments, if you have suggestions for our channel, let us know, and we'll try to improve it the best way possible. And hopefully you'll come back to our channel, which is Learn About Astronomy on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.